All right, well, I'm going to get us going here. So I want to welcome everybody. Oh, Sarasota, Florida. Very nice. Thank you, Peter. Um, all right, well, I'm Peter Erickson. Some people call me Pete. I'm the founder of Modev. I've been doing this for 20 years, building ecosystems around tech. And we are proud to say we're partners with NRF, where we brought our years of building agentic AI ecosystems and AI ecosystems to the table to provide support. And we were on site there at NRF. Right after that, we went and produced Agentic AI Davos, which was interesting. Highlight for me was we hosted two of the Black Eyed Peas on our stage. Both Will I Am and Apple to App are both Agentic AI entrepreneurs. So a little fun
Wow.
for you. Yeah, they're both doing really interesting stuff. Will's working in education, and Apple's working around farm conservation using AI in his native Philippines. So really, really interesting time there. But agentic AI is such a huge topic, and it really is. I mean, there's so much news pouring out every day that this is the agentic AI era. So that's what's going to be the topic today, and Snowflake is certainly on the cutting edge of that. So this is an interactive session, so I want to make sure that you use the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom screen. You may need to hit the three buttons to get that to find that icon, but please use that icon. And anything that comes to mind, our panelists are here to answer your questions. And again, this is an interactive conversation, so be sure to ask any questions that you may have along the way. And then as we get towards the end, we'll be able to start answering those questions and get them all answered for you. So it's a great opportunity for those of you that are live with us today. So before we kind of get this webinar moving, let's ask the very first poll question. Jess, if you could push that out, that would be great. And then we'll get to introductions. So the poll question is, how would you describe your organization's data readiness for deploying agentic AI? This is an opportunity for everyone to understand kind of where we are. So your data may not be ready, it may be partially ready, mostly ready, or you're like ready to go, AI ready. So this is great. If you could take this poll, if you're part of this webinar, we ask that you just take this quick poll question. That would be great. It gives us a little bit of an understanding of the group, but also gives us some conversation points along the way as well. We'll be pushing out two more poll questions, one about halfway through and then one towards the end. So please participate in this little data exercise with us, and it really kind of helps drive things along. So with that said, let's introduce our panelists. And the way I like to do this, I'll introduce the panelists and their titles and ask them to introduce themselves. Also, maybe some comments on some of the poll data that you're seeing. That would be great. So our panel includes Paul Windsor. Paul is the head of retail for EMEA at Snowflake. Welcome, Paul. He's out of the UK. And Amit Gupta is the senior principal architect for global retail and is the global retail CTO for Snowflake. And then we have a case study client, Ville Tarvonen. He is a development director, excuse me, for Kesco. If you're not familiar with Kesco, they're one of Finland's largest companies. Think of them as as maybe Kroger, Home Depot, and an auto parts store all wrapped up into one. I think it's one of those stores like if they don't have it, you probably don't need it. But look forward to hearing more from Ville and his role there. So with that, Paul, I'm going to kick it over to you to get this webinar kicked off, and we'd love to hear more about you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you. Shall we? I've seen the answers come through here. So shall we just before I dive in, shall we comment on the answers? It looks like we've got a
Sure.
very split response here,
Yeah.
which is great and not surprising from my perspective. I mean, what do you think about the answers here?
Yeah, I would say it's kind of interesting. We've got a real a nicely even group with both folks that are just getting going here with data readiness and folks that are like, in the game. So I think it's a nice balanced group.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's not, and I don't think it's a surprise because I think where we are in terms of the era of agentic AI being deployed and really used at scale inside of retail customers, companies, I think that's no surprise, right? There's some that are just still in that siloed, inconsistent part. Some of them are modernizing and getting underway. It's great to see that we've got some responses here around it being connected but also a couple of responses here around it being connected and semantically aligned. So great, because that really helps us in terms of this conversation today. So, Amit, why don't you move forward to the next slide? And we promise you, if you can forward to the next slide, have you got that? Yeah. We promise you that this is the most boring slide that we've got today. We do have to make sure that we put the disclaimers and the safe harbor in place. But yes, go to the next slide, Amit. That would be great. So yeah, so who you're going to hear from for the webinar is I'm just going to dive into some of the messaging to set us up. We've got an opportunity to ask Amit to really walk us through how agentic AI can be used and deployed inside a retail company. We're actually going to show you some demos around what this looks like in the future, and not just the agent-led part within a retail business, but also the agentic commerce side as well. And then once we've done that, it's going to be an opportunity for myself to have a little bit of a fireside chat with Ville from Kesco. So just to confirm this and go to the next slide, you'll see that the way that we're going to take this through is exactly how I described it. So we'll set some scenes, give you an indication of what this looks like from Snowflake's perspective. We'll get Ville's perspective on everything as a retailer, a leading retailer in Finland. And then I think to basically what Pete said, let's see if you've got some questions for us that we can answer through the webinar. Okay, so to the next slide, and I think where I want to start is I just want to retrospectively go back to last month's NRF conference in New York. I had the opportunity to be at the keynote on the Sunday morning, and one of the key speakers, one of the main keynote speakers at the conference was Ed Stack, who is the son of the founder of Dick's Sporting Goods, but today the executive chairman of the company. And he spoke about a lot of things in regards to retail and the trends. And towards the end, he was obviously asked, what are you thinking in terms of AI being used and really deployed at scale inside retailers going forward into 2026? And I captured a comment that he said on stage, and he said, look, on the topic of AI, not many people really know where this is going to take us. I mean, we're getting some good indications, but not everybody knows where this is going to take us. But the way that Ed described it is we're looking at AI in the first instance as being a productivity tool, certainly not a human replacement, but an opportunity to really improve that productivity surge and really scale out the way that intelligent agents can support data consumers inside a retail business. So I thought that was a really nice way to basically remind ourselves that this was a huge topic at NRF last month, and it was discussed on the keynotes. Now, if we go to the next slide, Snowflake's perspective here, and I think the first actual question, Pete, really set this up nicely because we are seeing retailers in 2026 make sure that they have a really modernized data estate that is in position for retailers to make sure that their data can be AI ready, to be leveraged from an AI perspective by building these intelligent enterprise data agents over the data that sits within their governed and secure platforms, and can really start to speak to and ask questions to that data in very natural ways and get answers back with real context. So not just straightforward answers, which is binary, but an answer that brings that context in as well, why something is performing in a certain way. And so we are seeing in 2026 in Snowflake, and it was really talked about at the NRF conference, that this is where the focus is going to be going forward. And if you go to the next slide, this kind of just really sort of hits the mark in terms of what we see is really now top of mind in retail and consumer goods. we're going to see retailers start to think about how they prepare for this new evolution in the retail industry. I don't want to age myself, but I've been in this retail industry for nearly 40 years, and I go back all the way back to the traditional brick and mortars of retail. I think what we're going to see with agentic commerce coming into play as an evolution into the industry in 2026 is one of the biggest disruptions as to how consumers and how retailers are going to start to use these agents. Very similar to how we saw e-commerce really explode some 30 years ago. So we're going to talk about how we're going to prepare for that agentic commerce period. The other point is that we need to constantly, as retailers, attract those conscious consumers. And conscious consumers is very conscious around the types of products they want to buy from brands that they feel have those core values, but also recognizing the challenges that we see consumers having today across the world in regards to the kind of diminishing disposable income as well. So how do we attract and really get the attention of those conscious consumers? And how do we build and deploy those intelligent agents into our operation to help us really accelerate the speed of how we get these answers? And so that's where we really want to kind of really focus on. But I want to draw your attention to one more thing before I ask Amit to really explain this. If you go to the next slide. The one thing that we just don't want to lose in all of this focus around making sure that you're leveraging your data and making sure that you take advantage of AI and that opportunity to really introduce those intelligent agents into your business. The one thing we don't want you to lose sight of is this is all about driving better business outcomes in your business. So think about wanting to be better, to really understand the right price to offer to your consumers by getting your forecast as accurate as possible, by understanding your consumers' behavior and why they're changing their habits, really understanding and driving those business outcomes down to those use cases. And then how can you leverage the data that you have today and really accelerate the way that you take advantage of that data with all of the capability that's available now from an AI and an intelligent agent perspective. So moving on to the next slide, I want to invite Amit in at this stage and just describe why we think there is a need. And it sounds like by the first question that the audience have really understood this as well. But why do we think there is a need for these enterprise intelligent agents to make their way into the retail business? So Amit, why don't you take it over from here?
For sure, Paul. And I think just for everybody who does not know me, which is pretty much everybody on the call, been at Snowflake for 7 years, been in the industry for 20 years, working on the descriptive and predictive analytics wherever, and building these systems which could do that for our customers in the past. And always, even before the era of AI, we always started, to Paul, your previous point that you made, we always started with the business question we want to answer from the predictive system that we are going to build. We start there. That is the first question you ask. So in this scenario, like even I don't think that changes as we move from the BI to the agentic AI world, where we are still asking these questions, but we need to understand what the business outcome is. Are the questions we are trying to ask? So everyone, the interesting thing about the past is that we started with questions and then we built out this whole system which would understand that question and translate, and then basically have the BI reports which will have the SQL behind it and the databases behind it, right? Now that does not need to exist. Well, that still need to exist, but there is a bridge between the natural questions or the natural language question that comes to everybody's mind, to the C-suite's mind, to the executive's mind, to the VP's mind, to the director's mind, and even to the people who are in the store working in the operations. Everybody has questions, but not have the SQL skills. What enterprise intelligence agents are doing now is having everybody being able to ask those questions in the language they understand, which is English. and ask that in a natural language, and these systems would respond back to the where the data is sitting. Okay, so that's how I'm seeing this. But this agentic frameworks where the promise is huge. I can go to the chat GPT connected to my database. I hope you're not doing that. There's a lot to be said, a lot of things that's from security perspective you have to think about. But say you did that and you ask a question, it will answer it. It will answer it. Is it right or not is a bigger problem. Is it governed? Is it supposed to be seeing that question, answer data to that question? And there is a lot of, to make it right, to eventually make it right and make it very accurate, it requires a lot of effort. You have to go through data governance. You have to make sure user access control is in place. You have to do a lot of prompt engineering as well to make sure that the data, the output that you're getting from these agents is in place. So there's a lot of heavy lifting in the whole process, and may not provide the performance and reliability eventually. What Snowflake has built is the enterprise-ready data agents, which are ready for deep analysis. So if you wanted to ask why questions and what questions, so descriptive questions like what are my sales from last 6 months, and also the why questions, it can just like an analyst can look into different aspects of the why question and then go into the data and look for the answers. The Snowflake intelligence can do that, and it is enterprise ready. It is governance is in place. The data, you're not moving your agents to, you're not moving your data to the agents. Each agent is sitting with your data, so there's no back and forth. There's no security that you have to worry about. It's all built in. Governance also is built as part of this enterprise ready stack. And as we go, just like in the BI, so if you can have 20 metrics in your organization which says revenue, which one is the correct one from a finance perspective or from sales perspective? They could be two different perspectives too. Which one is correct? You have to have a trusted and certified answers to it, and that's something you can do with Snowflake intelligence as well. So all of this combined together, our customers are solving this problem of democratizing the data and bringing it to the execs or to the people who cannot write SQL but can ask questions, making it available to the customers. Right? So that's what a lot of our customers are actually solving this problem today. And the reason I'm trying to bring these, now there are 4 use cases I'm going to bring today. All of them, the customers are actually getting value out of. AI has a lot of promise that we may or may not be able to deliver today, but there are 4 areas that our customers are able to deliver some promises. So first one is about the Snowflake intelligence. So just to give you an example, today you may have a data warehousing system where you may be bringing the data from different systems like your PIM system, your CRM system, your inventory system, maybe in Manhattan Associates, and social proofs that is coming from the APIs, etc. Bringing all together, maybe you're doing all of this today in Snowflake or somewhere else. It does not matter. You're doing this hard work, that bringing that product 360 together in one place. You're putting governance and security on top of it and creating reports. What the AI assistants or the AI agents can do for you is add data agents on top of this, which is, by the way, 90% accurate if you use Snowflake's Cortex out of the box without any tuning. And if you can get to 100% accuracy if you went on and did some tuning. So it immediately reduces the amount of time required for you to get to the point, which is where you can ask questions in natural languages, which brings the reporting and BI added layer, which is AI assisted. And I'll walk you through this now. So let me change my screens here. So in this example, this is Snowflake system where you have your database. This is Snowflake. Think of this as a data platform which has your data for analytics and AI. So here I have my Snowflake data set, which has customer data pulled in from CRM, which is Salesforce. Inventory data is coming from another system as well. Product data is coming from my PIM system. Social data, again, coming from my influencer social mentions that is being pulled in through API. All of this work is already done as part of the project, which is data warehousing, lakehouse, data lake, whatever you want to call it. Basically, all that data harmonization has been done here. Then I have reports. This is, again, all of this. This is what you may already have today, that you have your product 360, you have your reporting systems which are connected to that product 360 in the backend. and basically running analytics, well, basically running dashboards on top of it. Here I see the total revenue, active customers, inventory units, and so on. So if I now this is still loading for my end. Again, fun of the live demo, but let's see. So in short, I have the dashboard, which already you have in the systems. What I can do is take those data sets that I already have connected to my dashboards and make it available to my executives through an agent. And this is an agent that I built on top of the data that I just showed you. Like, for example, product analyst is an agent sitting on top of my product data. Customer analyst is an agent sitting on top of my customer data, and so on. And I built a semantic layer on top of these data sets before I can expose it to the agent. Once I have created this agent, I can then have a interface, something like this, where I have connected this executive product 360 agent, and this is just a UI which I can give to my execs and say they can ask the questions. They can look at the dashboard, or like they do in the BI. You can take this and give them a question, a method through which they can ask the natural language questions. So what are my top products in past 6 months? The question is pretty straightforward. This is a descriptive analytics that I was talking about before, which is non-trivial when asked in natural language. If you know SQL, it's a much simpler problem to solve, but to take that and convert it into SQL, generate a SQL which is accurate and give the response to the executive who's looking for this answer is non-trivial. And that's what Snowflake Intelligence connected to the Cortex agent is doing. Okay, so it's giving me what is the product, what are the top products by revenue. By the way, I did not tell it, what are my top products by revenue. It figured that out based on the context that I've been talking to this agent for a while. It understands the context that when I'm talking about top products as an executive, I'm talking about the by revenue. You can also change that by asking the different question, but the point being, it understands the context that it has been given. You look at the thinking, you can also see how it planned and the SQL that it ran and so on. Okay, so these are my top products as an exec. I understand this. Now let me ask another question, and I'm gonna pull this from here. So as I could see over here from the chart, all my top performance are coming from the lip products. They are not from, by the way, I did not give the context. This is a cosmetic store data where I am basically a seller of cosmetics. And what I'm seeing is all my top performers are lip balm products, right? So I'm trying to understand why all my top performers are from lip product category, and what about my other product categories like my face, my eye care, and so on. So it's looking at, just like if you ask a why question to your data analyst, now they are going and looking into different aspects of the data that is available to them. It's looking at inventory, it's looking at social proof, it's looking at product data itself, looking at sales data. It's looking at all these different angles, which may be sitting either in Snowflake or external to Snowflake, but made accessible to Snowflake. If you're using other platforms like Databricks or AWS systems, you can all directly connect to this whole ecosystem that I'm showing you. The data does not have to physically sit in Snowflake. It's looking for those different elements and then coming up. And as you can see, it looked at different sales performance. It looked at, maybe let me go back to the thinking here really quick. Yeah, it looked at the inventory, it looked at social, it looked at product, it looked at checkout, it looked at multiple aspects of the data before it is giving me the response back. Okay, and it comes up with the key findings like my stock availability is not a problem. I have superior customer ratings as well, lips generated, and so on. Like sales performance, it's giving me the insights that it believes based on what it's seeing in the data itself and giving me the output, right? So eventually, if I wanted to, it's not only about asking questions, but also summarizing and taking actions on this. So as your CEO is looking at this data, he finds out that bottom line, your lip products wins on quality because of the high ratings. And there's something we can do on the high ratings. I'm going to send it to my CEO saying, hey, take a look at this and see how we can improve our operations based on this. I can just summarize these findings and send email to my operations, all within the system. If I found something that I needed to send it to my operations in store, that, hey, promotion is something that you want to look at, I can do that, connect this whole ecosystem to my operations application and say, hey, here is the data that you need to send. Here's the pricing change that we need to make in a particular store. You can do that. I'm just doing a simple example of sending an email to the operations, right? On the key findings. I'll stop there and I'll pass. I think there was a poll that we needed to do after this.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry, Pete. Yeah, can we? We thought it's a good idea to do a second poll question at this
Yeah,
point.
Jess Harder push out the number two poll question for us. That is going out now. And that is, where do you see the greatest near-term opportunity for agentic AI in retail? Customer engagement, marketing personalization, merchandising and product discovery, supply chain and inventory optimization, or store operations and workforce efficiency. So that would be great if everybody that's logged on could take this poll. That would be awesome. We'll let this thing build for a few, and then we'll start to see some results here very quickly. So thank you so much for taking the poll.
And we
And
do have a question, don't we? I don't know if we're going to
yeah, yeah.
perhaps do that now or leave it to
I'll
the
tell you
end.
what, if you guys want to take a look at this question and answer it now, it's really up to you. David Contreras chimed in. I think you see the question, right?
Amit, can you see the question? It's how do you manage the potential risks of letting an agent create and execute SQL queries?
Great question. So first of all, from Snowflake's perspective, you can create it's completely access controls just the way you control a human user on what they can do with the data. It's exactly same access controls that is available to you for the agents as well. So what interactions an agent can do with the data, what data they have access to, and what privileges they have access to that data, it's all controlled by you as a user, as an admin in your organization. So that's the primary way you control the risks on what data agents can do. Again, there is always a risk of going rogue, but with Snowflake's security and access controls in place, you have that full visibility. And also, by the way, that's one aspect of it, that how you control it, but also you have complete visibility into what agents are doing.
And I think you talked at the start, didn't you, about the fact that there's multiple agents. You highlighted quite a few of the agents at the start. So only certain types of analysts or data consumers will be connected to certain agents, right? Because it's part of their job. It's to help them do their job better, to get them answers quicker, right? So you can set those controls up as well.
100%, 100%. And like I created a master agent against all four. So you have your data analysts that have access to various functions in your org. That was the master agent. That's what the executive had access to. Not everybody in your org would have access to all those agents, to that master agent.
Cool. Well,
Great.
Pete,
Great question.
Let's look at this data. Let's look at this data. I think it's pretty interesting. You can see the results there. We've got half of respondents cite customer engagement and marketing. And then we go to supply chain optimization and store operations. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's great really to think about how the audience are thinking about this from a customer engagement point of view, right? You know, how do we leverage these agents to help us getting closer to being much more personalized, much more understanding of the needs of our customers? So it's great to see that. Great to see supply chain being another way of making sure that the customers aren't disappointed because we're missing some actions to how we optimize our inventory. Store operations and workforce efficiency, absolutely. How do we put this into the hands of people that are literally facing the customer every single day? And surprising that merchandising and product discovery didn't get any responses. But hey, we've got 3 good answers from the other, so that's great. Amit, rather than answer the next question from Peter, but we'll definitely get to it. I think we need to move on to make sure that you can cover off the next part of our agentic commerce.
Sounds good. Yeah. So, and I think customer engagement and that customer engagement is changing with agentic commerce. coming up front, so it can very well tease up to this topic. As we see at Snowflake, and Paul and myself and our whole team is looking at this very closely, and the way we see it today is that agentic commerce, or the chat GPTs and the Gemini and the perplexities of the world, the way a lot of shoppers are using these agents is for the research and discovery. I want to look at the product. I want to look at what that product, how it compares with other products, but they do not shop in that experience. As we see this tomorrow, this would change, like with the advent of ACP, Agentic Commerce Protocol, from Stripe and OpenAI, or Universal Commerce Protocol from Google. As more and more vendors are coming out there with these protocols, we will see that more shoppers will not only just do product comparisons and go through the research and discovery phase on these agentic platforms, but also start shopping there, saying, hey, add to cart, buy this for me, with human in law. They are making the decision on, hey, I want to buy this now or not. And then finally, this is the world where we have merchant agents and the shopping agent coming together, basically two agents talking to each other and making autonomous decision on whether to buy or not. So for example, as a user, your part, or as a shopper, the shopper's part would be, I want to buy XYZ, and as I want to buy a laptop when a Mac Pro, when it falls below $1,000, right? And with the XYZ specs. Once that happens, my shopper's agent actually negotiates with the merchant agent or the retailer's agent, and eventually comes to the conclusion whether it can buy now or keep monitoring to buy it later. And all of that can happen in future. We don't believe that is happening now, but that definitely is where the trends are happening. As we see this AI-centric, so for the phase one, where users are using the agentic interfaces for product discovery, as a retailer, what we need to do is make sure that we have our product 360 in place. We truly believe enabling clean, descriptive, and quality product data and making it available for generative engine optimization is what we need to do today. There's semantic views and managed MCP, which is enabling technology over here as well. Well, it looks like you have your hands up. You have a comment or a thought?
Sorry, me?
It was Wille, I think. Okay, maybe that was just by error. Okay, so basically that's what we see in phase one, and how you can enable yourself to be ready today for what's happening today. Start building product 360, start from a data perspective, start building a semantic layer on top of it, which not only enables your AI use cases, but also your BI use cases. So you have a common semantic layer across your business functions, which can serve both human intelligence and agentic intelligence as well. As we go forward to phase two, what will enable this era, which is where humans are also saying buy now on these agentic platforms, is the inventory 360. You need to have your inventory 360 ready. Your inventory 360 should be part of the product 360 as we see it. Customer 360 should be part of this, because now you need to not only understand whether your inventory is ready to serve the shopper, but also who is the shopper and what their previous behaviors had been. So this is another area that we are seeing. We will see this develop as the AI shopping assistants become real. And the true agentic commerce is when truly, like I said before, it's a multi-vendor agent-to-agent communications that happens, which is autonomous. We believe this is a future. We are still watching closely. We are not seeing this as a pattern, which is happening today. So just wanted to give you our perspective on what it looks like today. So let me give you a demo of how Snowflake fits into this agentic commerce world. Okay. So step one, we talked about this, to build a product 360, which is comprised of product pricing, inventory fulfillment, social, and customers. By the way, we are not building this product 360 up. This is based on the OpenAI's Agent Commerce Protocol spec. And we have taken this and cross-checked it against other agentic commerce protocols as well, like Universal Commerce Protocol and PayPal's Commerce Agent as well. They all are converging with these 6 domains to begin with. It has to be complete and accurate. Maybe you have built it or you want to build it. You have to definitely start with your data to begin your AI strategy. So data agents, we have connected this to reporting. The second use case that we are seeing is not only having the product data in there, but making it multimodal and using AI in your enrichment pipelines that you're building today. So that enables, so for example, there's a lot of product label data out there where you can extract from the images what is the product label, what are the ingredients in it, what's the warnings on it, etc. What is the price of it, etc. from that product label, and put it on in your product data and make it complete. Again, completeness, accuracy, and freshness is definitely needed for your generative engine optimization. AI-powered Product 360 can help you enrich and complete your product data, inventory data, fulfillment data to a different degree. Another example that we are seeing, customers you get calls from your call centers into your customers are calling or talking about you on your social networks or calling you via chat. All that topic modeling can happen through AI-powered LLMs as well. Like you're looking at all this multimodal voice data, the chat data, and the image data. All of this can be done through LLMs, and topics can be defined whether this customer, what is the shopper calling, connecting with me for. All of that can be part of your Product 360. I'll walk you through one quick example on this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Slideshow here. Go back to slideshow. Okay, so here is an example. I'm just giving you an example. If I may remove this, okay. So if you can see this is a product label from a brand. Again, I'm a cosmetic company, so I have a product label which is about lipsticks or sunscreen, and I need to take this image and try to identify what are the aspects on this and how I can enrich my product data. So I take this, and just to show you, this is I'm going to load this in, well, I'm referencing this. Data can sit outside Snowflake again. I'm just referencing that image file, which is sitting elsewhere, and connecting it to Snowflake. So just to show you, this is an lipstick label.jpg. And that's what I'm using over here, analytic label.jpg. Okay, just to gain trust from you. Now I can run an AI pipeline, which will actually detect different aspects that are sitting in. And now what I'm looking for, and I make that clear to the AI. Here I'm using Gemini 3 Pro model. That what is the brand, what is the product name, and warnings, directions, etc. I'm giving it exactly what to extract. The LLMs I've gotten, and by the way, this kind of project would require machine learning, your data scientists, few months to get to this levels. Right now, we can get to this in few days, if not hours. So just to give you an example, show you how it looks. So right now, so from that image, it is able to find out that this is the brand. This is the name of the product. Here is the net weight written on that label, which is over here. I can also see the directions again, which is it has also qualified what are the directions, what are the warnings, and so on. It also looks at the ingredients. So again, part of my query to that or to that model, it looks at, and if I don't know if you can actually read this, most of the people which I've showed this cannot, but AI can. So this is a very not well-formed image to show the ingredients, but AI can help us read these kind of images and come up with what those ingredients look like. So it has been able to, by the way, I've cross-checked this, and I can I can make this code available in form of GitHub to everybody. But this is accurate ingredients list from that label, which comes out. Now I can take this data and put it into my product table so that my product data is now more enriched, making it available for people who are looking for low glycerin products. My products start showing up in generative engine optimization. It makes
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
All right.
Amazing.
Do we have another? So how much time do I have? I know I'm
Well, you kind of run out of time. So do you want to sum up here? Because I think you've really shown what a great way to taking that information and putting it in. We want
okay.
another poll question and then we want to move over to Ville. So how do you want to wrap this up, Amit?
Yeah, one last thing I'm going to tell the audience that this is the AI powered. What you can also do, the same data agents can also connect to your agentic commerce. So if you are having your websites where you want to bring this data agents that are looking at a product data in an accurate way, you can bring that to and connect to the chat GPTs, perplexities, or to your own and bring the shopping agent experience to your own website. I'll show you very quickly and I'm going to pass it to you, Paul, here. So in this scenario, I've created that agent, which is connected to my website. Then I can ask the questions like, can you recommend face products for XYZ? What are the social reviews, and add it to the cart. I've connected the same to my chat GPT agent as well over here. Actually, I have preloaded it over here. So if you want to see over here, and I've also confirmed all these three channels give me the same output if I ask the same question. So the
Amazing.
accuracy across these channels, these are just new channels connecting to the same data agent that you create. And all you have to do is tune one data agent, and rest all of the channels would work as needed. All right, I'll pass it back to you, Paul.
Fantastic. I think this is just a complete evolution of what we're going to see going forward in this industry. And Pete, it's probably a good time to see what people are thinking as the challenges to this, which is our final poll question, right?
Yeah, that's right, Paul. And you made a great job. So, and then we got a couple questions that I think will be perfect for once we get past this poll question. So, what is the biggest obstacle to activating agentic AI in your organization today? So, is it data quality and integration, lack of shared semantic standards, governance, safety, and trust concerns, or skills, resources, or organizational readiness? So, four good options there. Pick the one that you think matters most to your organization, and we'll let this thing run for a second.
And then, Pete, I think might be good that the questions that have come in from Megan, who I hope it's the Megan that I know, and Peter. It'd be good if first of all, Amit, whilst I'm talking to Ville, you could answer those questions so that we can get some time with Ville. And then perhaps we can come back at the end just to say that hopefully we've answered the questions correctly. But I'm keen to move on to my conversation with Ville. Have we got the answer back from the poll 3 though?
Looks like it's about to pop up here. And there we go.
Okay.
Skills.
So, skills, resources, and organizational readiness. I mean, Amit, very 30 seconds, you're seeing this answer. What do you think from our perspective? Has he gone on mute?
Yes, he's on mute. There he is.
Sorry. Yeah. So that is a key obstacle that we are seeing as well. I think that's where all of us need to start upskilling, and I think we are releasing some of the key training materials as well. So yeah, and we are also coming up with how the organizations should structure themselves around this era.
Cool. Okay, right. So, Amit, in the meantime, make sure we get to those answers in the Q&A. If you can type some of the answers into there so I can get onto the conversation. And if you can forward to the next slide, then, Ville, you've been so patient. I mean, we've gone through a lot of content, but we want to get to talking to you because, first of all, you work for a retail business. You're leading as the business development director for Kesco. This is a lot of the things that you'll be thinking about and the challenges that you'll be facing. So, first of all, thank you for joining the webinar. I want to just first of all start though with you were with me at NRF last month in New York. So what were your key takeaways from the conference last month? Are they similar to what we've been talking about today?
Yeah, that was the thing I was about to say. So pretty much what we have seen were my key takeaways. So the agentic commerce, the agentic AI use cases, those were the key takeaways for me, and also the in-store technologies that were available and seeable in the NRF were very interesting for me, since I'm responsible for the retail media, and of course we try to enhance our store operations, for example, diminish the stockouts and these kind of topics. So
Yeah,
lots of
fantastic.
the same things that we have seen.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, tell the audience that a little bit about Kesco for those that don't know them. So you seem to have a very comprehensive role. You're the business development director for grocery trade. You're also looking after the retail media business and the data services and the business analytics. Amit, if you forward to the next slide, tell us a bit about your role and also the Kesco's business model, just so everybody understands the Kesco's business.
Yeah, I will start with the Kesco's business model. So we are over 100 years old Finnish company that operates in 3 divisions. So we have grocery trade, building and technical trade, and car trade. And we do have the B2B and B2C operations, but the key business model that we have is through those individual entrepreneurs that, for example, in grocery are like the retail store owners, and they own the locations, and we try to develop the solutions to give them the competitive edge in the localized markets. And as you can see, we are like 12 billion euros company in 2024, and in grocery, which is the biggest division, our market share is around 35.4% in Finnish market. So in that sense, it's quite big.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah,
It is. And you say over 100 years old, right?
yeah. It came like 2 years ago, 1 year ago, something like that. So,
Amazing. Amazing. I
open
mean, can
pretty.
you imagine what the business would think about 100 years ago about what the capability and technologies available today? If Amit, if you move to the next slide, Ville, you've spoken about this before. You spoke about this at NRF last month in New York.
Yeah,
Data strategy is the tool for Kesco's to achieve that business process efficiency, but also for competitive advantage, but also to absolutely make sure that that customer experience comes through. Tell us a little bit about how you're planning this and executing this from a data strategy perspective.
yeah. So for us, of course, it starts with the business strategy, and then the data strategy is aligned with it. But for the left side here is the key. How are we trying to operate the data strategy? So we have like the idea to have the common data AI platform in the middle, and then we try to combine all the stakeholders to utilize the same data. And this is of course the oil for the agents also. So this is pretty much the digital business platform that is kind of the data strategy that is eventually helping the business strategy to get us the competitive edge and also the process efficiency.
I like the fact that you mentioned that you're connecting the business strategy, you're connecting the data strategy to the business strategy. But on the right-hand side of this slide, where you are aiming to get to, where you are now happening to actually utilize this, is utilizing this data for your data science needs, but also for your AI needs as well. So, Amit, if you just move to the next slide. What are you looking to leverage in terms of your data and AI from Kesco's perspective?
Yeah, so we have been working for years to get the foundation correct in the Kesco's data architecture, and of course the Snowflake's role here is quite significant in our architecture. So we have the raw data and the enriched business data available there. So now it's easy to develop it AI ready, which is partially already is, but of course we need to do some work on top of that. But then now it has been easy for us to start testing with AI agents, and also to get productionalized AI agents to our business users. So it has been our trip so far. So it started with the data, as you also said in your presentation. So that was also the path for us.
You've got in the next slide, you've just got an example of how you see agents operating inside a Kesco. Amit, can you just forward to the next slide? So can give us a bit of an example of what you call the analyst and the validator. What do you mean by these two types of agent-led approaches?
Yeah. So for me, since I'm responsible also for the business analyst in our grocery trade, it was quite obvious to start with the analyst part, which is also kind of the BI part that Amit showed already. So
Yeah.
so it's like when the business leader comes to me, I just said, please use this agent as you were asking to other like people business analysts, but it has been very helpful for us. We have been able to shift the demand also to AI agents. So now the business analysts are able to focus on more strategic topic and help the business to do bigger change in the meantime. And for the validator, it has been like a different story. So we have been, as I said, we have been developing the data for years. So there have been these bottlenecks. So we have like business users who don't know SQL, and then we have the developers who are very familiar with it, and then they work with through Excels, like giving samples or this kind of stuff. So they get understanding whether the data is correct or ready to be published. But we have developed the validator to actually be the middleman for these people, and then we have seen already how the business ready data is being published quicker than it has been before. So that's the
Okay.
role of the validator.
Yeah, that's great. And I want to get your perspective on that poll question too. So the poll question too was, where do you see the best use of these intelligent agents inside of a retail business? The poll question came back with the answers of focusing on customer and marketing to get much more personalized relationship with customers. The other one that hit out was supply chain and then store operations. Where do you see kind of these agents kind of surfacing themselves and being adopted inside a Kesco?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much everywhere. But for me, since I'm more on the core business side, it's like the sourcing agent, the assortment planning agents, the campaign planning agents, these kind of topics. So for the core processes to actually integrate into the process and help the business leader to achieve the business outcome. So those kind of topics definitely for me, but I've also worked for like topics that are related to content management and these type of solutions. So that's why it will be everywhere.
Yeah. And I like, yeah, the comment, you can see it being everywhere. You can see this really being
Yeah.
adopted everywhere. Last question, Ville. We're in month 2 of 2026. Amit, if you just go to the second to last slide here, yeah. What's the focus, for you and your team in 2026? Give us a bit of a sum up of what the focus is for you this year.
Yeah. So for me and the team, of course, it's also about the data. So we need to develop the data as we have done so far. But we also try to publish like the catalog of AI agents to be utilized in different business processes. As I mentioned, so the sourcing agent, the campaign agent. So we try to go into the business processes with the agents. So they won't be like irrelevant parts, but they will be integrated into our business processes. And of course, there will be like the total transformation of the business analyst work during this year, hopefully. So these kind of topics in the agent.
Yeah, that's great. And I love the reminder to everybody that this ambition of single source of truth never ends. This is a good reminder to everybody that this isn't something that just ends and then that's it, it's done. And then obviously this comment about the fact that you want your data to be of high quality and also faster in terms of getting that why that Amit was talking about, the getting answers, but the why behind that as well. So So these are great areas for focus for 2026. So thank you, Ville. Pete, we've got 2 minutes left. I don't know if Amit got round to answering the questions that came in the chat, but we're at the end. And Amit, if you just forward to the next slide, we'll thank everybody for their time and their attention.
It looks like Emmett's actually answering that question as we speak. But Paul, Vile, and Emmett, great job on the webinar. Everybody that participated, thank you so much. You were active participants, taking the panels, asking the questions, and that's fantastic. What we do from here is we do a little post-production on this video, and we make sure that it's available on demand. And it will go out to everybody that is on the distribution list for the webinar. Paul and Vile and Amit, please feel free to share some final thoughts before we close out this webinar.
I'll go first. Just from my perspective, in the 20 years that I've spent in this data and analytics and AI space, I can't think of a more exciting time. I really can't. I think this agentic era is really going to be the biggest transformation. So for me, I'm excited to hear from more customers like Ville in the approach that they're taking. Ville, what about yourself?
Yeah, so for me, it's all about changing modernizing the business processes through the AI. So basically, with the same story than before. So starting to publish and transforming the business with this agent AI.
Fantastic. Amit?
I'll give you, well, you already said this very well, Paul, that start with business outcomes. That is not changing. And I think whether we were doing data transformations or AI transformations in our organizations, that's where we got to start and continue to do that. And Snowflake is a great partner for all of you. I think we are well positioned, and I'm looking forward to discussing more, having more conversations with all of you. And I do know, I know there's one question from Megan that was left to answer. I'm not sure if
Yeah, I'll go ahead and leave you can go ahead. I think you're typing the answer, Amit. If you can go ahead and we'll leave the webinar on for until you finish typing that up, because that will be a part of the archives for the event.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, that would be great. And I want to thank the Snowflake team. Thank you so much. You are doing groundbreaking work. And Ville, thank you for coming on and staying on late. It's much later Finland time, so hats off, definitely. Well, actually, all the Europeans, Paul, you're included. So thank you so much. To all you logged in from around the world, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm Pete Erickson with Modev. Snowflake team, thank you so much. Ville, thank you. And this webinar is concluded. Thank you so much.